Stuttering and curism. Can stuttering be cured? I have answered this question before in my previous videos, but I feel that I need to repeat myself again. So I want you to listen very carefully to what I have to say. I do not offer any cures. There is no cure to stuttering simply because it is not a disease. The use of the word cure in relation to stuttering is totally unapplicable and inaccurate. I repeat, it is not a disease. Stuttering is a multifaceted problem that involves your whole persona, your entire personality. From my personal experience, my research, and working with others, I have identified the list of deep-seated emotional issues that form and propel what is commonly called speech anxiety or stuttering. These issues are: number 1, problematic or inflamed relationship with parents. People tend to either be emotionally dependent on parents or alienated from them. Both situations are unhealthy. This applies to unvoiced and unacknowledged past conflicts or grudges, even if parents are no longer alive. Relationships with parents is one of the biggest pages to churn and let go of before you can reach true emotional freedom and separation. Number 2, inability to manage one's thoughts and emotions. This leads many people to believe that stuttering just happens to them and that they have no control over it. Let me tell you that once your mind becomes your tool rather than your master, you are granted all the control you need of your speech and your life. Number 3, emotional immaturity. The vast majority of people are emotionally immature, which is the result of chronic suppression of emotions. Emotions are the engine of maturity. We are only truly adults when we mature emotionally, not just physically. Some messages I receive from people who stutter, obnoxiously demanding magic pills, answers, proofs, illustrate this infantilism perfectly. This is how children behave. They stomp their feet and demand, "Give me, give me, give me." Sometimes they say, "Please," but not very often. Number 4, emotional scarcity, which comes from suppression of emotions and fear of being perceived as abnormal, weird, with subsequent rejection. Basically, people are afraid to feel. Feelings are filtered and castrated before they are allowed to surface. This applies to positive feelings even more than negative. Emotional landscape can resemble an arid desert. This is not fun because it affects your social interactions and life experiences in general. It is an emotional diet, emotional stinginess. Number 5, high emotional sensitivity, high excitability, and not knowing how to manage it effectively. Many people who stutter consider their sensitivity their weakness, which can become your power if you know how to use it. Number 6, unhealthy ego. Number 7, not knowing how to set personal boundaries. This contributes to unhealthy ego and essentially comes from not knowing yourself, your needs, your wants, and your desires. Number 8, suppressed anger or even rage. This is a part of having an unhealthy ego and lack of boundaries. Number 9, lack of self-awareness. The reason why so many still don't see how they create stuttered speech, but there is something you do that blocks it. Once you identify what that is, stuttering begins to subside and eventually stops taking you by surprise. Number 10, self-consciousness and fear of being yourself, which comes from not knowing who you are. That is a lack of self-awareness. Once you get to know yourself, you step into your power and your irrational fears subside. 11. victim mentality and the tendency to shift blame on society, parents, doctors, speech pathologists for having the problem. 12. Lack of self-love and acceptance. This mirrors the relationship you had with your parents and methods of upbringing your parents used. 13. Desperate need to prove your worth to others, to receive praise, admiration, attention, love, likes on social media, with the tendency to be highly critical, controlling, perfectionist, all of which come from lack of self-love and acceptance, forming the part of unhealthy ego. Each of the issues mentioned can be further broken down into smaller aspects, but I won't go into finest details here. I just want to give you the general idea of the bigger underlying issues that contribute and drive your holding back. All of the above create the domino effect, adding to one another and leading to inner disconnection from who you are, your authentic self, from your higher self, if you wish to call it that, and results in some people developing stuttering or speech anxiety. The degree and severity of the issues mentioned above will differ from person to person. Proportions might be different, but the essence remains the same. If you hold back and stutter, you are disconnected from yourself. If you recall John Harrison's hexagon of stuttering, each person's hexagon will be skewed differently, yet it is still skewed if you are afraid of speaking and hold back. There is no magic flip that you or anybody else can simply turn and your stuttering will be gone in a flash. Unless all the above are addressed and resolved, stuttering will remain as the byproduct of inner disconnection and disharmony. Speech anxiety or stuttering is essentially the spiritual problem. It is not a problem of speech, and it never was. There are exceptional cases where people develop speech problems as the result of a cranial damage, head injury, or stroke. But these cases are rare. If you never had injuries, you are simply disconnected from yourself. You don't have a speech malfunction, you have a spiritual malfunction that manifests in fear of speaking, fear of expressing yourself, and fear of feeling. It is that spiritual longing that needs to be addressed and resolved, not your speech. I know that this might sound unpleasant to some of you, but do you want a sweet talk or do you want to heal? This is your decision to make, and nobody can make this decision for you. Lying to yourself and escaping will definitely not help you change, progress, or heal. I want to help you change and heal, and therefore I have to say the truth. I offer the range of practical tools to restore harmony and reconnect. Remember who you are. I do not offer cures. I repeat, I do not offer cures, because you don't cure stuttering, you only dissolve it by finding your way back to yourself. There is no other way, my friend. If you resist, you will only delay your progress to freedom. So what's the point? If you use the tools and are proactively involved in the process, your speech and your life will inevitably change. I share plenty of tools and answer your questions for free via my channel. Please take advantage. If you just collect information, listen to what I have to say, but never apply it, never experiment, it will not work. And yes, overcoming stuttering takes balls. And some things you learn about yourself might be unpleasant or even painful. That is the part of the reconnection process, and there is no way to completely remove this discomfort. If you seek comfort, then you are not ready to change. I did it, many other people did it, and so can you. If you want to, of course. I wish you all the wisdom and good health and all the success on your journey towards freedom. I am here to help you reconnect and dissolve your fear of speaking. So please, if you have any questions, don't hold back and don't be shy. Just ask. With love, Olga.